Hello, I'm Steve, and I'm very excited to be working with you in college composition this semester. And if we're lucky, college composition 2 next semester. Now, before we meet the class and the assignments and my expectations and a lot of the nuts and bolts that are going to comprise the work that we do together, I want you to know before anything else that I am a reasonable, enthusiastic person. I love my job. I've been teaching college writing since I was 20, and I'm not 20 anymore. So for 20 years I've been doing this, and I'm very passionate about what I do. I take my responsibilities very seriously in helping you improve your writing no matter where you are. If you're a very good writer, I want to make you even better. If you're someone who's maybe not where you want to be just yet, I promise that by the time you and I are looking back at the end of the semester in December, we're going to be able to find plenty of things that you've gotten better at as a writer, and to be honest, things that you will help me be better at as a professor. So I love this job. I love my job. I love this class. I love helping student writers. However, this screencast is largely going to be about less pleasant things, and so I do want to be clear about a lot of this stuff. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room that I have with a lot of my policies, and I want those policies to be something that you're aware of right from Jump Street. So I'm probably going to say some things that maybe make me sound harsher than I really am at the end of the day. Ask your supporting teachers if I've worked with them in the past. So anyway, let's get into what this class is going to look like. All right, the basics. So first things first, this is a college class. I understand College Credit Plus is expanding rapidly, and this may not be your first online class, this may not be your first college class, but in case it is, let me talk about a few things, okay? I realize that you are busy, okay, between your academic responsibilities, your personal ones, your professional ones, all the other entanglements that you have that keep your life, going from point A to point B to point, all the way down the line. I understand that you're busy. What I also understand is that you're not going to do well in this class if you don't make it a part of your life. Okay, so we'll talk about that a little bit more too. So again, access to technology. Have a backup plan for internet and computer access. You cannot get all of your work done for this class in your typical school day, your typical school week. You will need to work some nights. You will need to work on the weekends outside of school. This is a non-starter. You have to have backup access. There are these things called libraries, right? You've heard of them. They have computers there. There are places called McDonald's. They have free Wi-Fi there, right? So even if your home technology situation isn't ideal, we can still figure out ways to get work done. Bring me into those conversations. I can point you in directions that can be helpful, I would hope. Okay. I like this picture. It's a New Yorker cover from 2009, so it's a little dated, but I like the idea that the young person is teaching all the older people the ins and outs of technology, or at least in this case, kind of tech speak. If you can see that, there's an OMG and a BTW. And I imagine emojis would be on this list if they existed back in 2009, back in those wonderful days before emojis. So anyway, did I say this already? Yes, sure. Online courses. In addition to this being a college class, this is an online class. It's a lot of work. What do my most successful students do? The students who earn the highest grades, who are the most effective at being a college student, what do they do? Well, they got these 4 things. They manage their time. They know what's due and when it's due. They plan accordingly. They get ahead anytime they have the opportunity to. They properly plan their lives out. Get a schedule, put it, every due date from my course schedule, put it in your phone so you can see it coming. Make sure you're checking Blackboard. I fill out the calendar for Blackboard as well. So I don't like my due dates to sneak up on you. You shouldn't like that either. So please be sure to plan and manage your time. Okay, those are really easy. Get a calendar, keep an eye on the clock, those sorts of things. These other 2 are a little more, let's call them soft skills. Personal responsibility and a consistent work ethic. Those are things that I can preach to you about, but at the end of the day, you gotta cultivate those within your own person, if that makes sense. You have to become personally responsible for your own education. You have to become personally responsible for your own success and for your own growth as a writer and as a thinker. You also have to have a consistent work ethic. Geez, I do not like the word procrastinator, and it's a misnomer. you're just bad at managing your time. It's not that you put things off. And don't tell me, please, don't tell me that you don't. Let me make full screen here. Don't talk to me about I have to wait until the night before an essay is due before I can complete it. That's a child's excuse, okay? It is. And if you're someone who thinks that you can get through life by just putting off till the last minute, oh, I just need that pressure, I need that gun to my head, or I can't get work done. That's not how grown-ups behave. We get our work done, and if you're going to be a professional, you're going to have to, oh, wait, I have a bad idea. Wait. You're going to have to just deal with it, right? Should I just keep these on? Okay, let's see. APA, your APA, your exposure to APA is going to, kind of your mileage is going to vary, right? But APA is going to be the citation style that we use this semester. You don't have any say in this unless you are an English major, or you're planning on being an English major, I guess, and you need to notify me of that as soon as possible. If you are, your major is going to be APA unless it's English. MLA will be your citation style if you're an English major. We don't have many here at Stark. If you want to be one, awesome. Please send me an email. I would love to talk English major stuff with you. Not only MLA, but anything else that you want to know. I've been an English major pretty much my entire life. But APA, if it's new to you, don't freak out, okay? I'm not expecting APA perfection from you, but I will say by the time, mid-November rolls around and your research project is due, you should probably have a pretty firm grasp of the ins and outs of APA formatting, APA citation, and even APA writing style. We don't use last name or first names in APA. It's last names only. The year goes right after the author's last name. There are other ins and outs of APA, but it functions much like any other citation style. And you will get better at it the more you do it, right? The more you practice, the better at everything you get. It's kind of how the world works, how life works. Okay, a typical work week will be Monday is when our things are due. So Monday's 9 a.m. Every single major project is due Monday morning at 9 a.m. That's usually by the time I get my kids, my daughter on the bus and my son dropped off at preschool. I make it to my office around 9 a.m. and I like to just sit down and most Mondays in the fall, be mad about the Browns and grade your work. And I promise I don't let my being mad about the Browns inform anything that I do when I'm grading. But and then Tuesday through the next Monday is when you'll make individual progress on your assignments. And I will post all of my assignments way ahead of time. You'll get a weekly agenda emailed to you. It'll usually be on Thursday or Friday the week before that week begins. So that, to go back to proper planning, so that if you're someone who wants to properly plan, you will be able to with plenty of time in my class. If you look at the schedule, I have live links to every weekly agenda throughout the semester, all the way down through weeks 14 and 15. That is a lot of work for me, but I feel like it is well worth it. You'll get the hang of things. I try to develop a pretty easy rhythm to my classes, and I do that in the hopes that you become comfortable with the pacing of it. And if you ever have any questions, you can ask me, and you can send me an email at any time. I imagine your mileage with Google Drive is pretty extensive by now, that you have a pretty good grasp of it. If you don't, not a problem at all, but you will be creating a Google Drive folder that you will use exclusively for this class that you'll share with me. You'll give me full access to, so that I can grade your work when it is due, no matter whether or not you have it completed or not. I want to be able to see if you've gotten it done on time. So if you have any Google questions, I'm pretty proficient with Google, but we'll be using Google Drive through Blackboard, but we'll be using Google Drive more than Blackboard this semester. Okay, grading and feedback. I like to think I'm a lightning quick grader, and I tend to get that kind of feedback on my student evaluations. But there are, 120 plus of you. Maybe it's 130 by now. And there's one of me. So give me time to grade your stuff. Give me a week. You should have your grade figured out pretty quickly. Most weeks. But I do get busy with meetings, and some of your stuff is going to be pretty long and pretty difficult to grade in big chunks. So you can email me about the status of your work a week after that assignment is due. Okay, I'm going to pause so I can sneeze. Okay, sneeze and have a sip of coffee. All right, due dates and extensions. Let's go full screen. Oh, I'm still wearing these dumb sunglasses. Okay, I don't do late work. I don't do extensions. I don't do. I just don't. It's just not something that I'm allowed to do, really, and it's also something I really don't care to do, because I think it encourages certain behaviors, certain habits that are regressive in nature, that aren't as helpful to your overall success as a student. So don't ask me for an extension on a due date. I can't give them to you. I won't give them to you. All right. Plagiarism, don't cheat. I have flunked many a student, and it's never fun for me. I'm not a vindictive professor. I like to think I'm very student-centered. I like to think that I'm very much on your side most of the time, all the time, really. So it really bothers me when I have to flunk a student. Wreck, that at least some part of your academic life because you've chosen to pass someone else's words off as your own, or you don't bother to learn the correct way to cite outside ideas. You have to give credit where credit is due. I don't want to read this on your own. I get very upset when I think about the students whose lives have been altered by me because of their actions, because of their choices. Choose to write in your own words. Please let me help you write it the way you write, not the way someone else writes. So please don't cheat. Check your email regularly. I mean, it's an online class. If you're not checking your email, I don't know what you're doing. Try to follow these rules. These are just good rules for emailing any professor. I think basically I'm asking you to be polite. And the best way the easiest way for that to manifest itself is to not demand a quick reply. Please get back to me as soon as you can. I promise you I will get back to you as soon as I can. Once again, I pride myself and I get a lot of positive feedback on being very quick with my email responses. Okay, so the most important thing about emailing is this part right here that I'll highlight. I expect you to look everywhere in my teaching materials before emailing me any questions. If I've already answered your questions somewhere else, you won't get a reply from me because you've not done your job as a student. As much as I hate reading text out loud and calling it teaching or calling it a screencast, that's an important one. Don't email me about something that I've already explained to you. Look everywhere. To the extent that if you're going to ask me a question that feels like you're going down this path, I want you to explicitly state, I have looked everywhere. I have watched every screencast. I have read every agenda. I have clicked through all assignments and lessons, and I still can't find the answer to this question. If I don't take a hard line with this policy right now, right at Jump Street before semester even begins, then my workflow gets very drugged down by students who depend on me to do their work for them. And if I'm answering emails that I've already answered in other places in our course, then what I'm not doing is grading your work. And what I'm not doing is preparing for next week or the week after that or the week after that. And that really gums up the works for me. And that slows me down and it makes me less efficient as a professor. And I'm obsessed with being efficient. I want you to get, I know you don't really pay for this class, but I want you to get your money's worth out of our time together. And that really kind of shakes out to being a better writer, doesn't it? Anything else on here? I really don't like being this mean, but I want to be clear. So usually if you ask, do I have to or should I? Yes, you do, or yes, you should. There's very few exceptions to that general rule. I have little kids that I'm going to show you eventually pictures of, I'm sure, because I like to bother everybody with pictures of my kids. But I'm living that toddler life. So I go to bed early, and I usually get up early to run. So if you send an email, and I realize many of you are night owls, and more power to you. I miss those days myself. If you email me late at night, I'm not going to be as quick with my replies because I'll be sleeping because my kids wear me out and I run 60 miles a week, and that makes me pretty tired too. So I promise you I will get back to you as soon as I am able to, and that's usually going to be first thing in the morning if it's a night email, or at least when I get into work. Okay, but if I do not reply to an email and it's been a minute, go ahead and email me. Again, I'm not going to get mad. Sometimes emails don't arrive in our system as quickly as they could, and also the messaging system with Blackboard is kind of iffy. Okay, so contact me. I think I already covered that. I don't want to get too much into the assignments, but you're going to have an essay that's timed to do this week. You're going to have an essay about a meaningful place that we're going to do the writing process with. Same with trends and causes. The last essay of the semester will be a collaborative essay. The research project is going to be the big thing. We spent about 7 weeks on it. Don't freak out. You have a final portfolio. You have reader responses. We'll worry about these things as we get to them. I'm going to do screencasts about each and every one of these, so I don't really need to explain them too much. Let's see. Blackboard and grades can be kind of wonky. Online behavior. Be civil. Be nice. Conduct yourself appropriately. Please don't be mean online. Please don't be mean online. Please don't be mean online. What else? You can read these on your own, mainly because I'm running out of time, but I mean these things. I will make you better at writing. You don't have to like writing, but you have to want to get better at it. And in exchange, you have to be responsible for your own education. Check your email daily. Basically, be a grown-up. Act like a professional. I promise to be a professional. And as we wrap up here, I'm really looking forward to working with you, and I welcome any questions that you have. And I'm really excited to get to know you and work with you this semester.